without realizing how they affect their relationships, reputation, or sense of self. These are the behaviors that people notice immediately but rarely talk about. Some are subtle, some are more obvious, but all of them can impact how others respond to you, and more importantly, how you feel about yourself. So stay with me until the very end. Because the final point might surprise you, it's the one people notice the most but speak about the least. Number 1, speaking too loudly or repeating oneself. One behavior that often stands out but rarely gets addressed is speaking too loudly, or repeating the same stories over and over. Many seniors don't realize they're doing it, and those around them usually don't have the heart to point it out. But it's something that people do notice. Whether it's a family gathering, a casual conversation at the store, or a phone call, the volume and repetition can quietly affect how others engage with you. As we age, changes in hearing can naturally lead us to raise our voices without even knowing it. You might not hear how loud you're speaking, especially in a noisy room or when you're excited, but to those around you it can come across as jarring or overwhelming. Most people won't interrupt or correct you. They'll just nod politely and hope the moment passes. And that silence often hides their discomfort. The same goes for repeating stories. Maybe it's a memory you cherish, or perhaps it's a topic that's on your mind often. But when others hear the same tale multiple times in one sitting, or at every family dinner, it can wear thin. They might smile and listen, but inside they're tuning out. That can slowly create distance, making meaningful conversations harder to maintain. It's not about age, it's about awareness. When you take time to pause, listen, and engage in a two-way conversation, people feel more connected to you. They feel heard. And in turn, they're more open to hearing what you have to say. It builds mutual respect and helps maintain stronger relationships, especially across generations. You don't have to stop sharing stories or expressing yourself. But being mindful of your tone, checking in with others, and even asking, "Have I told you this before?" can go a long way. These small acts show emotional intelligence and make people feel valued, not overwhelmed. A calm voice and a thoughtful word are powerful tools. They let others know you're still in tune, still engaged, and still aware of how your presence affects the room. That kind of presence draws people in, not because you're louder, but because you're listening too. Number 2, wearing outdated or unkempt clothing. Another behavior that people notice but rarely mention is when seniors consistently wear clothing that looks outdated, poorly maintained, or ill-fitting. This doesn't mean you have to follow the latest fashion trends or dress like someone half your age. But the truth is, the way you present yourself through your clothes says a lot about how you feel inside. And whether you realize it or not, others are quietly taking note. Over time, it's easy to fall into a pattern of wearing what's comfortable or familiar. That old pair of pants from 20 years ago, the faded shirt with frayed sleeves, or the sweater with a stain that just won't come out, it's all too common. Many older adults keep wearing clothes simply because they still fit, or they're good enough. But to those around you, it might send a different message that you've stopped caring, or that you've given up on putting your best foot forward. Clothing doesn't just protect your body, it communicates something deeper. When someone sees you looking sharp, even in simple clothes, it reflects self-respect. It shows you're taking pride in yourself, regardless of age. On the other hand, if you always wear the same worn-out outfits, people may assume you're stuck in the past, resistant to change, or unaware of how you appear to others. And no one wants to say it. Your family members may notice and worry. Friends might hesitate to comment, not wanting to seem rude. But inside, they might wonder if you're struggling or simply not aware. That's why this ugly habit goes unspoken. People care, but they don't always know how to bring it up without hurting feelings. You don't need a closet full of brand new clothes. A few well-fitted, clean, and updated outfits can make a world of difference. Even something as simple as ironing your shirt, polishing your shoes, or tucking in your top can change how people perceive you. These small choices show the world that you're still active, engaged, and aware. It's not about vanity. It's about relevance. When you dress in a way that fits your personality and your time in life, you remind everyone, including yourself, that you're still part of the conversation, still showing up with dignity, and that energy is contagious. People respond to it with warmth, respect, and a desire to be around you. So take a moment to look in your closet. Is it time to let go of a few pieces that no longer serve you? Is there something new you could try that makes you feel confident and current? These changes may seem small, but their impact is powerful. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 3, ignoring personal hygiene. One of the most common yet rarely discussed habits among seniors is neglecting personal hygiene. It's not always intentional, and often it's something that happens gradually. As we get older, tasks that once seemed simple like bathing, brushing our teeth, trimming our nails, or changing clothes regularly can start to feel like a burden. Sometimes it's due to joint pain, lack of energy, or even memory lapses. Other times it may be because we feel like there's no one around to impress anymore. But here's the truth people notice. Neglecting hygiene doesn't just affect your health, it also affects how others perceive you. When someone is consistently unkempt, others may assume they're struggling emotionally or no longer care about themselves. It can even make people hesitant to get too close, whether physically or socially. And that creates distance that we don't always understand or know how to fix. You might think, what's the big deal if I skip a shower today? But the truth is, these little things add up. A lingering odor, greasy hair, or stained clothing can silently shape how others see and interact with you. It can affect how family members feel during visits, how neighbors engage with you, or whether new acquaintances choose to stick around. There's also a psychological effect. When we stop taking care of ourselves, it can slowly erode our self-worth. Think about how different you feel on a day when you've had a fresh shower, put on clean clothes, and combed your hair. That feeling doesn't go away with age. It just becomes more important to fight for. And people aren't blind. Even if they never say a word, they notice. They may make a polite excuse to leave early. They might not return a phone call, or they may stop including you in social gatherings. Not out of cruelty, but discomfort. That's why keeping up with basic grooming matters. It's a quiet signal that says, I care about myself, and I care about how I make others feel around me. This doesn't mean you have to be perfect or glamorous. It means doing the basics, regular bathing, brushing your teeth, wearing clean clothes, and checking in with your doctor. If grooming is becoming harder to manage, sometimes all it takes is asking for help, a family member, a caregiver, or even setting up reminders. Taking care of your hygiene isn't vanity. It's a sign of self-respect. And when you respect yourself, others feel more at ease respecting you too. Number 4, complaining constantly about health or others. One of the most quietly alienating habits some seniors fall into is constant complaining, especially about health issues, daily frustrations, or even other people. It's not always intentional. Sometimes it's a natural response to pain, loneliness, or just needing to be heard. But when negativity becomes a regular part of how you communicate, others begin to pull away, not because they don't care, but because it becomes emotionally exhausting. We all know that aging brings challenges. There are real aches and pains, medical appointments, mobility issues, and sometimes a sense of grief for the things we've lost. It's okay and even important to talk about these things. But when every conversation circles back to complaints, others may feel like there's no space left for joy, humor, or hope. You might think, I'm just telling the truth. And in a way, you are. But people are sensitive to tone and energy. If they always walk away from a chat with you feeling drained, they're less likely to seek out those conversations in the future. They may shorten visits, avoid certain topics, or even stop calling as often, not because they don't love you, but because they're overwhelmed. The same goes for complaining about others, neighbors, politicians, family members, or kids these days. While some venting is normal, constant criticism makes people tense. It can feel like there's no safe ground, no room for lighthearted connection. Even if your points are valid, repeating them too often can shift the focus away from connection and toward frustration. But here's the good news: people respond quickly when the energy changes. If you share a small positive story, ask how someone else is doing, or show appreciation, you'll often see their faces light up. They'll stay longer. They'll open up. And you'll find that the conversation flows in a much more satisfying way. No one expects you to be endlessly cheerful. But balancing honesty with gratitude or humor helps people feel at ease. It reminds them and you that even in the hardest seasons, there's still warmth, connection, and reasons to smile. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 4 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 5, oversharing personal or private details in public. Sometimes in an effort to connect or make conversation, seniors fall into the habit of oversharing, especially in public settings. This might include discussing medical procedures in graphic detail, sharing family conflicts with strangers, or revealing private financial concerns with acquaintances. While the intention is usually innocent, others may find themselves feeling uncomfortable or unsure how to respond. You might think you're just being open or trying to find common ground, but sharing deeply personal details with people who aren't close, especially in casual environments like a waiting room, coffee shop, or even on the phone in public, can catch others off guard. They may not know how to react, and often they'll respond with polite nods or forced smiles while mentally pulling away. This kind of oversharing often comes from a place of honesty or a desire to be heard, especially if someone feels isolated. After all, when you live alone or don't see people as often as you used to, even a short interaction can feel meaningful. But the challenge is knowing where the line is between being open and making someone feel awkward. Oversharing can also make others worry about your emotional state. They might wonder if you're lonely, struggling, or not aware of social boundaries. This can unintentionally lead to being treated with condescension or pity, neither of which helps anyone feel respected or understood. People are drawn to those who balance openness with discretion. When you share a little and let the other person respond or ask questions, it creates space for mutual connection. It also shows emotional intelligence, the ability to read the room, to sense what's appropriate, and to honor both your story and the comfort of others. It's not about hiding who you are or pretending everything is perfect. It's about knowing when and where certain conversations are best held. Private matters deserve privacy, and when you protect those details, you also protect your dignity. That self-awareness earns respect and makes people feel more at ease around you. So the next time you find yourself about to launch into a deeply personal story, pause and ask, is this the right place? Is this the right person? That small moment of reflection can make all the difference in how your words are received and how people connect with you. Number 6, displaying poor table manners or eating noisily. This next one is a little uncomfortable to talk about, but it's something nearly everyone notices, even if no one says a word. Many seniors, without realizing it, slip into habits at the table that others find unpleasant, chewing with their mouths open, slurping food, talking while eating, or even using their hands for foods that require utensils. These small behaviors might seem harmless or even habitual, but they can quietly affect how others feel about sitting down to eat with you. As we get older, things like dentures, reduced sensitivity, or decreased motor skills can make eating more challenging. Sometimes we don't even realize that a certain sound or motion is noticeable to others. But to those nearby, especially younger family members or strangers, poor table manners can feel distracting or worse, off-putting. Most people won't say anything. They'll smile politely, eat their meal, and try not to react. But over time, they might stop inviting you out to dinner. They might avoid meals together or choose to sit farther away. These aren't signs of disrespect. They're signs of quiet discomfort that build up when the issue isn't addressed. What's tricky is that many of these habits didn't start overnight. Maybe we didn't notice them until we were eating alone more often, or we assumed people wouldn't mind. But small choices, like using a napkin regularly, pausing to swallow before speaking, or being aware of chewing sounds, can make a world of difference. You don't need perfect etiquette to enjoy a meal with others, but showing a little awareness at the table shows respect for those around you. It creates a more pleasant environment, and it reminds people that you care about their experience too. If you're not sure whether your habits are affecting others, try watching how people react. Do they look away? Do they eat quickly or avoid meals together? These are subtle signs worth noticing. If you have someone you trust, you might even ask them gently, "Do I ever do anything at the table that makes others uncomfortable?" That kind of honesty shows maturity and a genuine desire to grow. Mealtimes are opportunities for connection. They're where stories are told, laughter is shared, and relationships are strengthened. And when your manners reflect warmth and care, people will feel more welcome around your table, no matter your age. If you're still watching this video and finding these insights valuable, please comment number 6 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Now let's move forward. Number 7, interrupting or dominating conversations. Another behavior that often goes unnoticed by the one doing it, but is keenly felt by others, is interrupting or dominating conversations. Many seniors, often without realizing it, begin to take over discussions. They jump in before others finish speaking, steer the conversation back to their own stories, or simply talk longer than the moment calls for. While it may come from enthusiasm or a desire to connect, others can experience it as frustrating or even dismissive. You might think you're just adding something helpful or keeping the conversation lively. But when someone feels like they can't get a word in, or worse, that their words don't matter, it can create quiet tension. Over time, this can discourage people from opening up around you or make them less eager to engage in future conversations. One reason this happens is that many seniors have so much life experience. You've been through more, seen more, learned more, and you often have valuable insights to share. But the challenge is remembering that not every moment needs your story or your input. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can offer is your full attention. When people feel truly heard, they're more likely to listen in return. That balance builds connection. It shows that you value what others bring to the table, even if their life stories aren't as long or full as yours yet. It's also easy to forget that younger generations may communicate differently, pausing more, thinking before responding, or choosing different topics. If you rush to fill those silences, or if you redirect the subject too often, they may pull back without saying a word. It doesn't mean they don't like you, it just means they don't feel like they're part of the conversation. You don't have to be quiet to be respected. But making space for others, pausing, asking questions, letting them finish their thoughts sends a strong message. It says, I see you. I care what you have to say. And that kind of presence is deeply appreciated, especially in a world where real listening feels rare. If you've ever noticed people going quiet around you or letting you do all the talking, that might be a gentle signal. The next time you're in conversation, try letting someone else lead for a while. You may be surprised by what you learn and how much more connected you feel. Number 8, showing resistance to change or new ideas. One of the most quietly damaging habits that some seniors develop is resisting change, especially when it comes to new ideas, technologies, or ways of doing things. This resistance isn't always loud or aggressive. Sometimes it comes in the form of dismissive comments, rolling eyes at something unfamiliar, or saying things like, "That's just not how we did it back in my day." And while that may feel honest or even harmless, it can slowly create distance between you and others. Younger people often interpret resistance as a wall. When you quickly shut down a suggestion or scoff at something modern, whether it's online banking, a new recipe, or even the way kids dress, it sends the message that you're not open to learning or listening. Over time, that message can discourage others from including you in conversations, asking your opinion, or offering help. Not because they don't value you, but because they don't feel welcomed by your response. You might not mean to seem stubborn. You may simply feel more comfortable with what you know. After all, you've spent decades building your knowledge and habits. But flexibility is one of the clearest signs of wisdom, and it never goes out of style. People admire someone who can say, "I'm not familiar with that, but I'm willing to learn." That openness draws people in. It shows humility, curiosity, and a desire to keep growing. Being open to change doesn't mean giving up who you are. It means staying connected. It means staying part of the world as it moves forward, even if you don't agree with every step it takes. It means asking questions instead of making judgments, and showing the younger generation that your mind and your heart are still wide open. And this goes beyond technology. It includes being willing to listen to new perspectives, explore different viewpoints, and update the way we think about relationships, health, work, and community. When you embrace change, even in small ways, you show others that age has made you wiser, not harder. The truth is, people love being around those who are open-minded and curious. It makes conversations richer, bonds stronger, and life more vibrant. And when you approach the world with a spirit of learning instead of resistance, you don't just stay relevant, you become unforgettable. Final thoughts. As we wrap up this video, take a quiet moment to reflect on what we've talked about today. Which of these 8 behaviors resonated with you the most? Was there one that made you pause and think, maybe I do that without realizing? If so, you're not alone. These habits are common, not because we're careless, but because no one ever points them out. They're the things people notice, but stay silent about out of politeness or discomfort. But becoming aware of them is the first step toward change. And the beautiful truth is, every single one of these behaviors is within our power to adjust. Whether it's being more mindful in conversation, updating our appearance, or simply listening more than we speak, each shift brings us closer to stronger relationships, deeper respect, and a more joyful life. This isn't about judgment. It's about growth. We all have blind spots, but the difference between staying stuck and moving forward is the willingness to see ourselves clearly and to make small, meaningful changes that reflect the person we want to be. So if any of these points made you think twice, take it as a sign of your strength, not weakness. Awareness takes courage, and applying what you've learned takes even more. But I promise you, others will notice. They'll feel the difference in how you carry yourself, how you connect, and how much space you create for them to feel seen and heard. You've made it this far in life because of resilience, wisdom, and the ability to adapt. Those same qualities will serve you just as well now. So keep showing up with grace, with curiosity, and with the quiet power that comes from knowing you're always becoming better. Thank you for joining us today. We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and share one thing you learned today and how you plan to use it in your life. Your thoughts are important to us, so don't hesitate to share them. Reading your comments gives us great motivation and encouragement. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue creating good content to inform and inspire you. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.